If you've been thinking about impressing your friends and family and kids and grandkids with a new skill that you've been working on for months, don't make this same mistake that I made. So, back in 2006, I decided to spend my first paycheck on a brand new 5 string banjo. It was a bit of an impulse purchase, but it wasn't at the same time because I wanted to learn how to play for a long time. But I was 18 at the time, still lived at my mum's house, and I was doing an apprenticeship in Portsmouth. So I was back and forwards from Portsmouth and to where I live, and decided that I wanted to learn how to play. So yeah, I bought this banjo, took it home. YouTube was still warming up at the time, so there wasn't that many resources on the internet to learn from. So we had a DVD, and I sat there in my front room with this DVD and my banjo, and I spent, must have been the best part of 18 months learning my first tune. And once I'd got it down and I was comfortable playing it, and my mum came home from work one day, and I sat my mum down and I said, "Mum, you need to listen to this. This is my first tune that I've learnt to play." And I started to play the tune, and it's a song called Cripple Creek on the 5 string banjo. So my mum sat down and she sat there and she listened to me play this song, and I struggled my way through it. And once I hit the last note, I looked up at my mum, very proud, and I thought, "What do you think?" And she just looked at me like, "Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. What is it?" I said, it's Cripple Creek." And she was like, "Oh, what's Cripple Creek?" I'm like, "It's a banjo song." She's like, "Oh, yeah, it's nice that. It's nice." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I don't want you to go through the same trauma as me. So yeah, what I'd suggest is if you are learning a new skill, adapt it to people who probably don't understand, and maybe not go something like Cripple Creek. Maybe go for something a bit simple. So the video I'm putting forward today is we're going to learn a brand new banjo song, and it's going to be super beginner friendly. It's going to be a big hit with your family, with your kids, and with your grandkids. And the tune that we're going to learn today is a nursery rhyme classic that we all know and love, and that song is called Mary Had a Little Lamb. And the best part about this tune is it's only 2 chords, your G and your D chord, and we're going to learn to play it in my style, which I call the Bob Ross style. So what we're going to do, we're going to build the song up in very thin layers at a time, and we're going to go from not knowing it, and hopefully by the end of this video you're going to be able to play it, and not only play it but impress your family and your kids and your grandkids. So go and grab your banjo, get it tuned to standard open G, and meet me in a minute and we will start to play it together. You've got your banjo, you've got it tuned to standard open G tuning. So standard open G tuning, starting from the 5th string, is G, good, day, D, good, banjo, day, G, D, G, B, D. So this video is going to go into the Wanderer channel, so it is a super beginner friendly tune, and we will work through it together using my Bob Ross method. I've got a full video on the Bob Ross method in I think one of my other channels, and it's just a technique where you, rather than just pick at each note one at a time as the tab's written left to right, we're going to build the tab up, build the song up in very thin layers, like the way Bob Ross paints an oil painting. So you can see the tab on the screen now. Now, if you look at this tab at a glance straight away, and you find it confusing to look at, you're not alone. It never gets any easier. Tabs are confusing to look at, to read, and it's no fault if you find it confusing. But I'm going to show you a technique that I like to use that helps to decode it and uncover the song that's written down. So the first thing that we do when we start to use the Bob Ross method of learning a song is we frame the song by highlighting the measures. So every song is structured into these rectangles, they're called measures, and this particular tune has got 8 measures. So look at it as pieces of a big jigsaw puzzle. So in this jigsaw puzzle there are 8 pieces. And what I'll do for reference, I'll number the pieces 1 to 8. And then we're going to whitewash the song, so we're going to delete everything. So this is as easy as it's going to get right now, because we've got nothing to look at. So remember, our banjo is tuned to standard open G, so each measure now is just a G chord. So using that basic frailing strum, measure number 1 will contain two basic frailing strums. So the first measure would sound like this. I'm just going to strike any string for this exercise. So the first measure would sound like this. Measure 2, just the same. Measure 3 and 4. And then 5, 6, 7 and 8 all together would sound like this. 5, 6, 7, 8. So congratulations if you've just played through that. That's your first full song playthrough of Mary Had a Little Lamb. So that's the very first thin layer. And all that layer teaches us is how long the duration of the song is. So remember, each one of these measures in the standard 4/4 timing is worth 2 boom chickas, or 2 basic frailing strums, or 2 bum ditties. So to start building our second layer up, what we're going to do is we're going to add the chords back in. So if I put the original tab on the screen, you can see where the D7 chord appears, because it's usually highlighted either with, when I do my tabs on Banjo Adventures, I like to put these chord charts on because it shows you where the finger positions are. And sometimes you won't get that, you'll just get the letters D7 to tell you where the D7 chords are. So you can see measures 3 and measures 7 contain the D7 chord. So just to make that a bit easy to see, I'll change that to D7 and colour it blue, so it makes it even easier to see. And then just to make it less complicated, I'll get rid of that tab. So now we've got our second layer. So this contains just the G and the D7 chord. So we'll play through it again, striking any string, it doesn't really matter. If you want to focus on the first string like I did the first time around, you can do that, or if you just wanted to, you can do that and just hit any string. It's just a bit of a warm-up exercise just to get you going. So measure 1, it's a G chord. Measure 2, G. Measure 3, D7. Oops. Measure 4, G. So all together that would sound something like this. Again, I'm just going to strike any string. You might play it differently, and that's okay. We'll go for the second line now, starting from measure 5. On this one, I'm just going to strike the second string. Okay, so for me, it's going to sound like this. Measure 5, G. 6, G. 7, D7. 8, G. All together. So even though we've put the chords back in and we're striking any string, it still doesn't sound like Mary Had a Little Lamb. So we need to build our third layer now. So let's have a look at what our third layer is going to be. The lyrics. Seems a bit counterintuitive to add the lyrics now because we don't know what the melody's like. But let's just go for it anyway. Again, I'm just going to strike any string, so I'll go for I'll tell you what, I'll go for the third string, the middle string. I'm just going to hit the third string all the way through this to see how it sounds. So start, number 1, G. Mary had a 2 little lamb. D7, little lamb. 4, G. Little lamb. 5, Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. So yeah, we're still a million miles away, but our third layer's in. What I'd suggest is with each of these thin layers is just play through it a few times, you know, just to get it into your... Imagine you're building a pyramid and you want to build a nice solid structure. So rather than it being like thin layers, you want to get a solid foundation. So play through layer 3 a few times, get the lyrics into your mind, and understand where the syllables land in the measures. So just do it one more time. This time I'm going to alternate between the first and the second string, just for a bit of practice. So it's going to sound like this. I'll do it nice and slow though. So starting on measure 1. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Layer 4. Let's find those melody notes. So the melody notes, a melody is the part of the song that you can sing just by using the letter D. So if it was to sing Mary Had a Little Lamb using the melody, it would sound like this. D, 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 D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D. Or you can hum it. Basically it's a part of the song that you can hum or replicate in your own mind just by using simple sounds. So that's the melody. So what we're going to do now is find where the melody notes are. So to do this, we're just going to pop the strings back in. And if you can see, I've just overlaid the original tab. And to find the melody notes, it's quite simple, and I'll show you how to find them right now. So what we'll do is we'll focus on measures 3 and 4. You can see I've highlighted it in red. And what I'm going to do is make it big on the screen. So there we've got measures 3 and 4 now. So if you look at the measure, and if you've watched my tabs for beginners video tutorial, you remember that each measure is broken up into eighths, 8/8. So a measure will look like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'll play measure 3 for you now, holding that D7 chord. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now typically the melody notes land on the 1, 2, 3 or 4. Sometimes they can land on the ands, but that's when we start going down the roads of syncopation and other techniques. But for simple songs like this, the melody notes will normally land on the whole numbers, so the 1, 2, 3 or the 4. But you'll notice, looking at this measure, 2 and 4 is taken up by our strum to create the harmony. So if 2 and 4 are taken up by the harmony, that kind of only leaves 1 and 3. So you'll notice 1 and 3 has the middle string with the 2nd fret held down. But when we hold the D7 chord, the 2nd fret is held down automatically just by holding the D7 chord. So measure 3 would sound like this. And then if we look at measure 4, again, you've got the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Looking at the 2 and the 4, they're taken up by the strums. So measure 4 would sound like this. So we can identify the melody notes there because the strum's taken up on 2 and 4. So that only leaves 1 and 3 with our melody notes. So you can see now where the melody notes are. So if I play through measure 3 and 4, I'm going to hold the D7 chord for measure 3. I'm going to strike the middle string. And then measure 4, I'm going to release that D7 chord. And the melody notes land on the 2nd and 1st strings. So it'll sound like this. All together, and when I play it all together now, you might start to recognise the tune. So, if you want to pause the video now, can you identify where the rest of the melody notes are on measures 1 and 2 and measures 5 to 8? So you pause the video, have a go at that, and if you've got it right, we're going to find out now. Are you ready? There they are. So they are all the melody notes, sorry. So each of these notes that are circled purple now, these land on the 1 and the 3 count on each measure, and that builds up our melody. So we'll go back to the original layout that we had before, keeping the strings on, and this is going to be our 4th layer in that pyramid that we're building up. So we're getting more technical now with what we're going to learn and the piece of the pyramid to build this song up. So we'll start with measure 1. It's an open G chord, remember, striking the 1st and the 2nd and the middle string, so it'll sound like this. Measure 2, 2nd string twice. I'm going to hold that D7 chord. all together. Measure 5. And then this measure 7 is a bit trickier because if you notice, you're holding that D7 chord as before. Going to hit the middle string, 2nd fret, and then the second string opens. So we're going to remove our finger off the D7 chord to hit that 2nd string open, which will sound like this. And then finally measure 8, middle string open. All together, starting from measure 5. So that's the 4th layer. So let's add the lyrics back in. This is going to be layer 5 now, so we're doing quite a few things all at once. So we'll start with measure 1, open G chord. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. That's layer 5. Play through that again. Oops, start again. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And then you can play through that as many times as you want, just to get that solid foundation on layer 5. So we've nearly completed the pyramid now, and if you wanted to just finish at that, that is the song done, song in the bag. But you'll notice, looking at the original tab, measures 1 and measure 5 and measure 7 aren't as simple as what we had it before. So for example, measure 1 before we had it as, but if you look at it on the screen now, it's actually a series of quarter notes just being plucked individually. But I've always said, when you're learning tabs or learning songs from print and from sheet music and from tabs, only use them as a blueprint. You know, once you've learnt the core of the song, which you've already done now, we're at level 5 on that pyramid. We've learnt the core of the song, so really it's entirely up to you now. If you want to do what it's suggesting on the tab, you can do. You know, you can challenge yourself and incorporate different techniques into your playing. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's your song at the end of the day, so don't feel like you have to do exactly what's printed on the tab. And that's a mistake that a lot of beginners make, is they want to learn a new tune. They open up a book or a tab, take one look at it, realise it's a bit technical and a bit difficult, struggle through the first 2 or 3 measures and then give up because there's too much, I don't know, you call it intricacies and too much technicalities, rather than it just being a simple, basic frailing strumming song. So technique for this method is obviously simplify it as much as you can and then build up the layers of technicality as you go. So measure 1, on its own it's fairly simple. So we're going from 2. So you decide how that sounds. I'll play through the first line now and then you can decide which is the better method, with the one that we've worked on or the one that's printed on the screen now. So the original one we learned is this. And the one printed is this. And then same for measure 7. If you look at measure 7, it was holding that D chord. We're going to strike middle string. So as before we had it as, but as printed it goes like this. So yeah, it's entirely up to you. You can decide to play it like it's printed on the screen now, or the way that we learnt it on the song playthrough. It's your song, you decide how you want to play it, and don't become a tab slave. I've been through that myself. When you become a slave to the tabs, once you use this method that I've just taught you now, you can use it on any song, no matter how complicated the song is. It doesn't matter. You can simplify it right down to the basic frailing strum, and then build them layers up, and you choose, because imagine the pyramids like that, it doesn't really have a top. The pyramid will go up, and it'll kind of go up like a funnel, because you can make a song infinitely difficult. I could take Mary Had a Little Lamb and add all kinds of weird techniques and slides and drop thumbs and hammer-ons just to overcomplicate it. And then I could then decide to tab that out, print it, and say, this is my version of Mary Had a Little Lamb. If you want to learn to play it, you have to play it exactly like me. But I'm a big fan of teaching people how to play their own songs. So that is Mary Had a Little Lamb in the bag. So yeah, you take that song away, go and play it to your kids, your grandkids, your loved ones, and I guarantee they'll recognise the song and they'll appreciate it a lot more than Cripple Creek, Boil Them Cabbage Down, Old Joe Clark, and some of the other banjo classics. As good as those banjo songs are, they ain't no nursery rhymes and people aren't going to know what they are. So if you want to impress people with your banjo playing, your banjo skills, learn a simple song that everyone knows, and I guarantee you it'll be a big hit. Good luck.